Hey guys, it's Bob Ferngren and I'm back with another 8-minute video on network marketing. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Why don't some people make it? Probably if you're in network marketing, you've heard that it's simple but not easy. So why don't some people make it? Well, there's probably a lot of reasons, but I think a lot of it has to do with your personal identity, how you look at yourself, okay? And I think you really only have two choices to make it. And maybe you could describe them differently, but in my mind, you have two choices. One is either act like an owner. Think about an owner, someone who opens a business. They've put money at risk. They probably had to borrow that money from friends and family and get a loan, equipment, everything it takes to open up. Maybe that business only cost $25,000 to open up. Maybe it costs more than that. Maybe you're up into a big time franchise thing where there's building costs and franchise fees. Just tons of costs associated with that. So, here's what we know, the way that most owners act, because they have very serious money in it. They act like this has to happen, okay? Now, I'm not telling you everybody makes it, that decides to open up a business that has a personal stake in a business. I'm trying to make sure this cup doesn't fall in the lake. That has a personal stake in the business. I'm not telling you every business makes it, but I can tell you no business makes it that doesn't open up the doors every day, doesn't treat their customers well, doesn't have something that the customers really want, isn't adding value of some type. No, that business isn't going to make it, right? So what type of businesses make it where the owner, someone is an owner? The owner's vested, meaning money in the game. The owner is present, meaning physically working the business. And the owner really does whatever it takes to create a profitable business for themselves. That's why they opened it, right? Their employees and their customers. That's an owner. So that's one way that you can make it here. You act like an owner, you're going to do whatever it takes. The only thing that's taken out of the equation in network marketing is costs virtually nothing to start this business. And because it costs virtually nothing to start this business, it's really hard to pull people away from the other distractions of their life. I'm going to tell you something. You got $100,000 in a building and a business and some employees and all that. Netflix isn't as important to you. Wasting time isn't as important to you. Taking lots of days off isn't as important to you. And that really is one of the reasons a lot of people don't make it. There's hardly any money invested here. The only investment is time. That's the only investment. And so for whatever reasons, people don't understand that time's more valuable than money. You can get money, if you put your head down, go to work, you can get money, right? You'll never get time back. And any of that time that you're spending on non-result producing activities, in other words, activities that don't produce income to you, is just wasted time. But see, real owners understand that, and they're going to fight to get that loan paid off, pay their employees, do whatever's necessary. I think the other way that you would make it here is if you acted like an employee. So you got that extreme, somebody who acts like an owner, like all those attributes that owners have. And then you have this extreme, act like an employee. What do employees do? What they're told to do, right? It's black and white to them. They're told what to do. You answer the phone, you show up on time, you answer the phone, you do the paperwork this way. Maybe it's a construction job. You lay the block this way. You show up on time. There's other rules and all that you have to follow. But and we know that in the world of being an employee, if you do what they've told you your job description is, unless there's, extreme circumstances, something happens, you get to keep the job. And then you're up for that, 2 to 3% raise every year. But see, most people will do that. Most people are conditioned to do what they're told to do. Okay, so now let's flip it to network marketing, right? You have to be your own boss. That's the problem, though, isn't it? In other words, you have to discipline yourself. I'm going to go over a few disciplines that even if you acted like an employee, you could be successful here, right? Let's say that your job description today was you need to reach out to a minimum of 3 people, up to any maximum, anything over 5 is a day you get into the bonus pool. So that's up to you, but you got to do 3 or you're fired. Would you do 3? Of course you would. You'd always do 3. And if you were looking for some extra money, you'd reach out to more people. A second step in your new job description is you have to introduce at least 3 new people that said they're interested in doing what you do for a living to your boss, or in this case, your coach, sponsor, mentor. At least 3 people a week. You have to do that. If you don't do at least 3, you're terminated. If you do 3, you get your paycheck, right? But if you do more than 3, you're in the bonus pool. And so that's up to you. 3 keeps you employed. More than 3, you start cashing in on more than just your base salary. Plugging in. Showing up. There's a number of different things you could add into it, but basically, if your job description was just 2 things, you need to reach out to at least 3 people every day to tell them about what you're doing, where you're going, and why you're doing it. At least 3, that keeps you employed. If you do more than that, you get into a potential bonus situation. And you have to introduce at least 3 people every week who said they're interested in doing what you do to your coach, sponsor, mentor. You do just those 2 things all the time. You stay employed. See, so to me, I always have to play these kind of mind games with myself. I'm more on the owner side. I don't want a boss. I'm in control of myself. I don't have to squeeze myself down. There's days I want to do 40 reach outs, and there's days I might just spend following up. There's a day where I might only do 1 3-way call or a Zoom. But I have the self-control because I know exactly where I'm going, and I know who has their foot on the accelerator. My doors of my business are always open, and so I'm on the owner side. But most of you, the vast majority of people would make it in network marketing if they just treated it like a job that either terminates you for not doing the minimum, pays you pretty good for doing the minimum, or pays you like crazy for doing more than the minimum. To me, that's as simple as I can make it. That's as simple. Now, if you did those things, you would see success. So are you an owner or are you an employee? Either one's okay. You can make it. I can tell you if you're an employee and you eventually want to go for the big money, you're going to have to start acting like an owner. Hey, let's go.